Yo. Howdy, and welcome in to the Josh Ennis Show. That is me. Jilly is here as well. Jilly's here as well. Come on out and come and see her. Jilly is here as well.
How about that?
Luther is here, fresh off a trip to the vet because it's that time of the week.
If 2020 were a dog, this is Luther. This poor boy has been to the vet more this year than he has in his entire life.
But you know what? He seems to be okay. Say he might have a little pinched nerve in his neck. But he's got some pain meds. He seems to be doing better. We're doing well because it's Friday. It's fun, right? Nothing like Friday, even though when you don't really work or anything, Friday feels like Wednesday. Wednesday feels like Saturday.
Well, you go to work. You just don't get paid for it.
I do, but it's not like it's, like if I walked in today and just said, I don't want to do this anymore, it'd be like, okay, see you later. It's like, there's no actual pressure in this job. It's just, all right, see you later, bud. Like, we like you, but whatever. It's all good, We'll get into that and some other stuff. But before anything else, and thank you for the bits, Spank It, Slap It. That's a good start to the night. Thank you. 1,000 bits, bada bang. I have to tell you about Dr. Busby, who, due to the fact that Luther had been kind of injured here, we had to, we had to reach out, told Dr. Busby.
I don't know if she knew what she signed up for.
I don't think she knew either. But I'll tell you this, she's wonderful. We appreciate Dr. Busby for being awesome and listening to us whenever we have questions about Luther. Luther's been taking the supplement, the Encore Mobility from Dr. Busby. And the good news is the vet doesn't feel like Luther has arthritis or anything. He just has a pinched nerve in his neck.
And he did say it's good that he takes a green lip muscle supplement.
So if your dog is getting older and not taking a green lip muscle supplement, then I would suggest Dr. Busby's Encore Mobility, which you can get at ToeGrips.com. That's right.
The green lip muscle plus a little extra.
Yeah, that little extra is the New Zealand Deer Velvet, which is a novel ingredient not found in the big name joint supplements in the USA. And Dr. Busby said this is just working, and my patients are seeing great results from it. She wants other patients to see great results, and of course, Luther has been seeing great results. That's why we knew arthritis couldn't have been the issue, because Luther's been taking these Dr. Busbys, and he has been a completely different dog since taking the Dr. Busby's Encore Mobility. So make sure you get this for your dog. It promotes hip and joint flexibility, mobility and comfort, vigor, and vitality. So I would urge you to get this for your dog because Luther takes it and he loves it. And you can get it at the website, ToeGrips.com, as well as the Toe Grips, as well as Dr. Busby's blog, which is available for you to read there as well. I mean, Dr. Busby is wonderful. She's outstanding. We love her. She's just a great lady. And she loves her patients. And she loves dogs like Luther, who are not her patients. So let that be a lesson that Dr. Busby is outstanding. So check out the website, ToeGrips.com. And if you do, and you make a purchase, 10% off if you use the promo code Luther. I would urge you to do that and use that code. And you have a 30-day money-back guarantee if any of these products don't work for you, which I have a hard time believing they won't work for you. But go to ToeGrips.com. Check them out. That's Dr. Busby. She's awesome. We love her. And now on with the show. First question out of the gate is, will there be a Saturday show this week? And the answer is no. Although there's part of me almost says yes because now everybody's kept out of the bars in Houston again. But
yeah, that's true.
That's kind of a tough spot. But as of right now, we're leaning towards no Saturday night drinking show because it's nice to have a day off from doing it. Now, there may be a Saturday show next week live from Baton Rouge in my dad's pool.
Assuming we can go. Who knows?
Which, again, who knows?
Lena Hidalgo wants you to cut all the
Lena Hidalgo, who, by the way, sexy
travel.
in a mask. Yeah. Well, at some point we got to live our damn lives, man. At some point we have to live our lives. And I just love like the victory laps people take whenever their politician decides to do something. So Lena Hidalgo does something, and all of these schmucks are out here like, yep, she got the job done. Like, I'm just fascinated by the number of people who are celebrating being told what to do.
But what's funny is what she says isn't actually a law or a rule. She has no power, actually, because the governor is the only one who can close things down. The governor is the one who shut down the bars here again.
And also,
the governor's not saying work at home. So she can suggest it. She can do her plea about when did we stop caring about human lives. But she can't enforce that here. She can't tell you can't travel. You can't go to work. You can't go to the store. She can't tell you that. She can suggest it.
I can tell you what I love, though. I love the fact that, first of all, that people sit around and celebrate when people tell them what to do. Like, what kind of monster would just, like, clap and cheer over someone trying to tell you what to do? I'm all about wearing a mask. I wear a mask. It doesn't bother me. I go to Walmart. I wear a mask. Go to the grocery store, wear a mask. Wore a mask at the vet today. Like, that kind of stuff doesn't bother me. But the other thing I really enjoy is that Lena Hidalgo has this, like, threat warning thing that's basically the equivalent of, like, when you get the noise meter at a ball game.
Yep.
You know, like when people put up on the board, are you being loud enough? And, like, the arm starts going like this. Like, people, like, I've seen people posting this. Guys, we're at threat level red. There is no threat level red because there's no threat level orange or any other color. It's a bullshit made-up thing by a politician. It's not like we're just, like, operating in this world where there's all these different threat levels. They're not real. They're not real because they were made up by Lena Hidalgo. It is bullshit. Again, I'm not telling you we're not in a bad spot, right? I'm not telling you.
There's some numbers that go into it.
Sure, I'm not telling you that the Rona is not kicking some, the hospital's ass right now. There are issues, and that is obvious. I just find it hysterical the way people respond to shit like threat level orange, threat level red. It's not a real thing. There are no threat levels. They're just made up. These threat levels and what encompasses any threat level color is made up by politicians. It is bullshit. Caring about people's lives. Meanwhile, deaths are down, not up. That's the other thing I get annoyed by, but I tell you guys that all the time. Like, if you want to go to work or go to a bar, the way these politicians and all these dopes on Twitter want to make you feel is that you're killing people. Again, we're learning that the death rate is considerably lower than people thought it would be. And I'm not telling you I want to catch this or that anybody wants to catch it, but again, the death rate is considerably lower than we thought. And at some point, you have to start taking that into consideration. But the comic, like the comic quality of this threat level is just funny to me because it just shows that sycophants and people who can't think for themselves will just kind of go along with anything. And that's not just in regards to Lena Hidalgo. That could be in regards to Trump or anybody else. Sycophants will go in any direction you lead them down. And then they'll just sit there and believe that there's a such thing as a threat level red and that we are in threat level red and we are in trouble. I told AJ today that since you have been on 97.5, I got hooked on the Press Box and the Blitz. I stopped listening to Moscona and started listening to the Blitz. Well,
oh boy,
I don't want to take listeners away from Matt Moscona. That's certainly not what I want to do. I would definitely not want to do that. But I'll tell you what I do want to do for you is I want to play this badass Kung Flu remix from WTF, brah.
It's pretty great.
It's spectacular is what it is. I don't know that I'd even call it great. I'd call it...
You don't hear them talking about COVID. COVID. To be specific, COVID-19. That name gets further and further away from China as opposed to calling it the Chinese virus. Kung flu, the Chinese virus. Kung flu, the Chinese virus. Don't you understand, you dumb son of a bitch? Calling it Kung flu, the Chinese virus. Testing is a double-edged sword. They test and they test. People don't know what's going on. We got this, they got this. You do testing, you're gonna find more cases. So I said to my people, slow the testing down. You know what? We got another one over here. Yeah. The young man's 10 years old. He's got the sniffles. That's a case. That's a case. Thank you, China. Send us the plague. Kung flu, the Chinese virus. Kung flu, the Chinese virus. Don't you understand, you dumb son of a bitch? Calling it Kung flu, the Chinese virus. Despite the fact that I have done a phenomenal job. He lied. I saved hundreds of thousands of lives. You know what? This country's in big trouble. Big trouble.
I can't get enough.
Like,
That's
I
like
would-
my favorite song.
I
right
would
now.
listen to this thing on loop. Like, I would listen to this. Like, we listened to it 10 times last night.
Yes, we couldn't
You played
stop.
it once, and I couldn't stop listening to this damn song. It gets stuck in your head, and it just goes and goes, and it takes up permanent residence.
About COVID.
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 To be specific, COVID-19. That name gets further and further away.
Sounds like an
from
intro to a
China
Z-Dog
as
song.
opposed
It
to
does.
calling it The Chinese virus. Kung flu. The Chinese virus. Kung flu. The Chinese virus.
I mean, this is legitimately awesome.
Dumb son of a bitch. Calling it Kung flu. The Chinese virus. Testing is a double-edged sword. They test and they test. People don't know what's going on. We got this. They got this. You do testing. You're gonna find more cases. So I said to my people, slow the testing down. You know what? I got another one over here. The young man's temperature. He's got the sniffles. That's a case. That's a case. Thank you, China. Send us the plague. Kung flu. The Chinese virus. Kung flu. The Chinese virus. Don't you understand?
Banger.
You dumb son of a bitch.
This is a banger.
It really is.
I mean, it's the best song I've ever heard.
Despite the fact that I have done a phenomenal job. He lied. I saved hundreds of thousands of lives. There was only one person that died. I ran for politics once, but I became president. You are so lucky I'm president. There's a limit to what we can achieve. I stand before you today to declare Kung flu, the Chinese virus. Kung flu, the Chinese virus. Don't you understand, you dumb son of a bitch? Calling it Kung flu, the Chinese virus. If I lose an election over that, you know what? This country's in big trouble. Big trouble.
So good.
Oh, that is fantastic. Oh, God. That is good. I enjoy that
I gotta
thoroughly.
send that to some people. That's just great.
I think you should send it to all of our friends that like to lecture me on Twitter
Oh, yeah.
and Facebook. Even though I don't vote for Trump, I've not voted for Trump and I don't vote. I get lectured by people on a regular basis. The Meltzers and all the other people that are holier than thou, amazing people on Twitter and Facebook who want to come out and attack me all the time and say I'm an idiot. And then they do the worst thing of the shaking my damn head, brah. Those type of people. But man, that is a straight banger. That's from WTF brah. That is the YouTube channel. And I saw that, or you found that on Facebook yesterday.
Yeah, somebody shared it. I forget who it was, but that's brilliant.
Man, that is amazing. 42 million out of work, an upcoming economic depression and housing crash and massive civil unrest. Yep, that is just hysterical. I'm sorry, Go Gadget Wang, that you don't have a sense of humor about anything.
No humor. Humor's not allowed, actually.
I apologize
But this
that people
is good
can't laugh.
because now you can go back tomorrow and be like, I apologize for the content I put out there. It's inappropriate, and I feel
inappropriate.
horrible about it.
Let me tell you, as a white guy, I have to tell you guys that I am completely inappropriate with that material. Like the people that got pissed today on Twitter that I used the woo flu
Oh, yeah.
in a tweet.
That's offensive.
I'm like, oh, go fuck yourselves. Blow me. That ain't offensive, the woo flu. You know why I kind of hope Biden wins? Because the virus will just go away at that point. Like the next
Probably.
day after Biden would be elected, you know what we're going to get? Well, guys, COVID is gone. Congratulations. The election of Biden has taken the COVID away. Yes. The voice of Cleveland on Family Guy just got self-canceled. I saw that, Joe. That was a self-cancellation, like the white guilt self-cancellation. But at least in that case, you're like, oh, yeah, it's a white guy doing kind of a stereotypical black guy thing. So, okay. The Jenny Slate one yesterday was even just ridiculous. This character that it is not even remotely racist or having any sort of stereotypes, racial stereotypes, and she cancels herself. We are just completely screwed up as a people when people are canceling themselves, creating racism. I've got to come up with a term for this because I need to find a way to shorten this and make it punchier. But basically what it is white people filled with white guilt, and they create something racist about themselves that isn't real, that was never there, so they can cancel themselves. It's self-canceling, but I need to find a more punchy, clever name for it. And at some point, I'll think of it. but that's what we're getting here. Like, that ain't going to be me. I can assure you that. First of all, what the hell am I going to cancel myself from? Second of all, like, creating a world where you're a racist, where it's not real, just so you can cancel yourself and pander to social media.
Well, you can cancel yourself as being a YouTube star. That's what Jenna Marbles did.
Jenna Marbles also canceled herself. Yes, you're right.
She went back and was like, yep, this is horrible. And she was watching some of her old videos. And she's like, I'm so embarrassed by this. This is terrible. This is so offensive.
The number of people self-canceling fascinates me. Like, I don't understand what the mindset is. Like, I look at these people.
To get the thank yous. And thank you for being an ally.
I think these people, though, have a disorder. Like, Trump derangement syndrome is a real thing. The media has Trump derangement syndrome. A lot of people have Trump derangement syndrome. That's a real thing. But I want to know what syndrome, what derangement syndrome these celebrities who just cancel themselves, like, I guess they feel like if they get out in front of it, because everybody's got a past of some sort, right? Everybody's done something that if the internet wants to make it racist or bigoted, they can, and you're screwed. So why not get out in front of it and say you're terrible? Because if you do that, then at least you're out in front of it,
That's
right?
true.
But I don't buy that either. Like, listen, I've been canceled once at least, right? I was canceled in Philadelphia based on the Al Jolson picture. Although that's not really why I got fired, but that's what they told you is the reason I got fired.
But you've not felt like the wrath of cancel culture.
No, but I mean, listen, I was in Philadelphia, and that was some, like, the stuff with the suspension was some hardcore shit, and that was a pretty big story.
Yep. And now times that by like 40, and that's where you'd be at.
Yeah, oh yeah, it'd be bad. It'd certainly be worse now. But at least I got canceled over those things. Like, obviously, like, and I talked about this on the air the other day, like, at least I've been canceled. So I don't know if it's like double jeopardy where you can get double canceled. I don't know if that's the case.
Well, again, you haven't been canceled in 2020. It's a whole nother level.
Correct.
And like, you would not even be having YouTube views. You would not have sponsors on this podcast. Like, you would be just...
I don't know. I think my sponsors would stick around.
You would be
based
getting
on
death threats. You would probably have people outside
But
the house.
also the shit that I did, I didn't wear blackface. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
I know.
I wasn't out there, like, some of the shit these other people were doing.
That's what I'm saying. When you say you...
kind of out of bounds compared to me, which one was a joke, and well, both were jokes. Neither was in that category of, like, blackface, N-word, that type of shit either, though.
But the internet thinks they were, and especially now. If the internet saw that now, oh yeah. So I don't think you've been canceled. When you say I've been canceled, I don't think you've been canceled. You haven't experienced
Well,
that.
but part of getting canceled, one of the main things they want is for you to lose your job or your income. That happened. So I consider myself I've been multi-time canceled. That shit, like, I should get, like, Letterman jacket, little patches.
Again, you haven't had protests outside of your radio station.
I've had some pretty hardcore stuff, though, like in my day.
Nothing like it would have been today. I don't think you've experienced anything like cancel culture would bring you today.
Probably not,
I think you just got fired.
but I did. And my point
You
is...
weren't trending on the internet. Cancel Josh Innes.
Maybe not nationally, but I was trending in Philadelphia, and and it was a story all over the sports media world, and I was trending nationally, I think, during the Radio Row thing, and people wanted to cancel me for that,
Radio
too.
Row fight that was trending. I don't think that was your name.
Why must you shit on my moment
just
here?
speaking the truth.
Why? Why can't you just acknowledge that I am one of the original people that got canceled?
Because you didn't get canceled.
I did get canceled.
No.
I literally got canceled. I got fired. Like Jenny Slater, the dude that does Quagmire, they didn't really get canceled.
No,
First
they
of all,
did
they
it themselves.
self-canceled, yes, but they also had, like, she left her job. The dude on Family Guy, or probably still does other voices on Family Guy. I literally, as a guy who's not a millionaire, lost a job and no longer got paid to do it. Like Jimmy, we can
But
argue
then
like
you
Jimmy
got
Kimmel.
another job.
I get that. But like Jimmy Kimmel and Stern, they're not getting fired. So we can say they got canceled, quote unquote. They're not losing their source of income. I literally lost my source of income.
Yeah, you
So,
got fired.
Thank you. Can't even let me have anything. You're canceling my ability. You're canceling my desire to tell everyone I was canceled. And I was. 97.5 would be smart to make you full-time. You're talking about 97.5 in Houston? That will not happen. They have told me that will not happen. So I can tell you that there is a 0% chance.
Well, especially with more Rona now. There's really going to be no money.
Oh, that's the point. Like, there's not. I mean, there is not a full-time job for me at 97.5.
Are they going to make you start
okay.
working at home yet?
That might happen. That next week, they're going to have everybody going to work. And if shutdown gets worse or if the numbers get worse, they're going to make me start working from home. So that's what I've got going. Years back, John Kincaid said your name in laughter over the Radio Row in Atlanta on 680 The Fan. Well, me and John are friends, so whatever. Let's see. Josh got canceled by the sales staff based on the people who refused to sell him based on his views. Well, that's actually true.
No, that's more canceled. Yeah.
But again, I got canceled in some way. But like the point being that I don't even need to continue the argument on this.
Sorry that you want to be canceled so bad.
I don't want to be canceled so bad. I'm just telling you that I did. Let's see.
You're going to be bragging about having people block you on Twitter next?
Josh complaining about people playing the victim follows it by playing the victim. I am in no way playing any victim. I don't know how I've played the victim. I'm just telling you that I got canceled. I got whacked. So I don't really know.
There's a difference between being fired and being canceled.
Okay, that's fine. But to this guy's point, his point is I'm playing a victim, and I'm fairly certain I wasn't playing the victim. I'm just saying I got fired, I got canceled, however you want to word it. That's not playing the victim. Let's see here. I feel like an essential part of being canceled is some level of public outrage. And Joe, your point is fair. And you're right that none of mine were like national things. Like they didn't make because now everything's under a microscope more than it was in 2016. But I will say this. Some hardcore black voices commented on my shit, including Bomani Jones, who commented on the thing that got me suspended. And he was like, I kind of get what you were saying. I don't think you had any ill intentions.
Well, see, then you certainly weren't canceled.
I guess. What did AJ say about your going out show today? My going out show? What? I don't even know what that means. Let's see here. Let's see. Jilly looking tight tonight. So congrats, Jilly. You're looking tight tonight.
Thanks.
Let's see. We need Nails' comment on what's going on in the world. Can you call him? I'm not going to call Nails tonight. I've learned my lesson to not Pearl Harbor him.
Although he did kick a chick out of the room last time.
Well, because we're boys, I understand that. Jilly is owning you, so basically people are cheering that you're owning me, and apparently I'm whining.
First of all,
I guess
I don't think you can say owning. That's probably offensive.
Two white people can, especially a woman can own a white man. I think that's
I don't know.
Totally
I don't even know
okay.
anymore. But no, I'm not owning you. I'm speaking truth.
Okay, I see. I wasn't sure. Now I know for a fact that you.
Sorry that you want the attention of being canceled.
I don't want the attention of being canceled. I'm just telling you.
You so badly want to be like, I was canceled.
No, I don't want that at all.
Further and further away from China, as opposed to calling it the Chinese virus. Come flu, the Chinese virus. Come flu, the Chinese virus. Don't you understand, you dumb son of a bitch? Calling it come flu, the Chinese virus. Testing is a double-edged sword. They test and they test. People don't know what's going on. We got this, they got this. You do testing, you're gonna find more cases. So I said to my people, slow the testing down.
Slow it down.
We got another one over here. Yeah. The young man's 10 years old. He's got the sniffles. That's a case.
He's got the sniffles.
That's a case. Thank you, China. Send us the plague. Come flu, the Chinese virus. Come flu, the Chinese virus. Don't you understand, you dumb son of a bitch? Calling it come flu, the Chinese virus. Despite the fact that I've done a phenomenal job. He lied. I saved hundreds of thousands of lives. There was only one person that died. I ran for politics once, but I became president. You are so lucky I'm president. There's a limit to what we can achieve. I stand before you today to declare Kung Flu, the Chinese virus.
Kung Flu, the Chinese virus.
Don't you understand, you
Dumb son of a bitch.
Call it Kung Flu,
The Chinese virus.
If I lose an election over that, you know what? This country's in big trouble.
Big trouble.
Big trouble.
Big trouble. Bam.
I just love it.
What a jam. What a jam. COVID.
This is
What?
our friend's reaction to watching this.
The Chinese virus. Kung Flu. Did AJ like your music picks today? Clarence Carter, etc. AJ doesn't weigh in on any of that kind of shit I do. The Philly Target McDougal follows me on the gram. Well, good for you, Bob Sugar. You've made it. Let's see. Let's see. Bomani Jones is an expert on cancellation because that's what ESPN did to his TV show and radio show. Sick burn. All right, before we get into anything else, Jilly, what do I need or who do I need to tell all the folks about?
Prime One Consulting.
Prime One Consulting. That is Prime, the numeral one Consulting. Our buddy Jason, and they are in the business of mold, which at some point we really do need to, demold. I mean, they found all the mold in here, and he said, you've got shitty air quality, Josh. Like, let's be real with you. It's not good. And I know it's not good. The air quality here is abysmal, and we need to fix this.
Well, the hope is that we get a job and move, and then our landlord fixes it.
Yeah, that's the goal.
But we will recommend Prime One Consulting to our landlord.
Yes. If you're buying or selling a property, if you're moving into a rental property, if you have frequent sinus headaches or sinus issues, immune-compromising illnesses, or if you've had recent water damage to your property, you should get a mold inspection done. That's what you should do. And again, they do a great job over at Prime One Consulting. They'll come in, they'll do like an air swab, find air comparisons to outside, and they'll tell you that your air actually just sucks, right? So make sure you check them out. It is Prime One Consulting. That is Prime, the numeral one Consulting. $50 off if you mention the Josh Ennis Show. So get healthy air. And you can get that healthy air now and be breathing better and living a better quality of life if you contact Jason over at Prime One Consulting, 281-545-5005. That is Prime, the numeral one Consulting on the old interweb. Prime One Consulting. What is next, Jilly?
Next, we have Concrete Chemistry.
Concrete Chemistry. Let me show you that picture for Concrete Chemistry just so you guys can get an idea of what we're dealing with here. They do polished concrete jobs, right? Not just your garden variety, like driveways and all that, right? I mean, this is like the kind of stuff where you get it shiny and purty. And that's what you get from the folks over at Concrete Chemistry. And they are wonderful people. And, we talked with Eric the other day when he called the Drunken Podcast, and he kind of explained what, goes on here, what goes on with, his type of fancy concrete. But they design and install resinous and polished concrete floor systems for commercial, industrial, and institutional applications. And they'll do it for you in Houston and the Philly area. And in response to COVID, they are offering virtual job site walks and virtual project estimates via Google Duo, so you can schedule an appointment today. And they can also do this in your home. So, that's not their main thing they do, but if you're in the business of wanting to have some nice, shiny, industrial-looking floors in your home, then I would suggest Concrete Chemistry for that as well. Eric Daly, he is the president. He's awesome. 713-497-4701 is the number. 713-497-4701. The website is concretechemistry.com. So check them out. They're badass. And they do a great job, and we appreciate them being part of GIST Nation. It is our friends at Concrete Chemistry. What's next?
One more, Harbor Classic Builders.
Harbor Classic Builders. I saw Gamma in here a second ago. I don't know.
Now we're
if
really
still
going to have to wait forever to go out to the bar. Through us, right?
We will, but there we go. Take a look at that beauty. Roll some of that beautimus right there. That is a nice-looking dojo from Harbor Classic Builders. Oh, yeah, we're supposed to go out and have the steaks and everything as sponsors. But of course, we're just, playing it safe is what we're doing. So we haven't gone out to steak night yet. But Harbor Classic Builders building these nice-looking homes. They are based in League City here in the Houston area. Custom homes from the Gulf Coast to the Texas Hill Country. They've built high-quality homes for over 20 years, starting back in 1999. Several of their homeowners have chosen to build multiple homes, which is the ultimate compliment. And they can hook you up with the architect, the engineer, interior designer, construction loan. They'll put you in contact with their hand-picked experts that they've partnered with previously. Your house is one of the most important purchases you'll ever make, so don't settle for an average builder. Get you one of these beautiful homes. Look at that. Look at that. Look at Gama. He's on there right now. He says, give us some likes. Why don't you check out their Facebook page, people? Check out Harbor Classic Builders. That's Harbour. The owner is Murphy Yates. He's a founding member of Operation Finally Home. They build mortgage-free homes for wounded veterans throughout the country. They've celebrated building over 100 homes for these veterans. So check them out on Facebook to see all of the work they're doing. 281-960-3900, 281-960-3900. Check them out on Facebook. It is Harbor Classic Builders. Check them out. They are big supporters of Just Nation, and you should be big supporters of theirs. It is Harbor Classic Builders. There you go. And then, of course, there's the Kung Flu, the Chinese virus. I can't get enough of the Kung Flu song.
I've passed it on now, so.
Now everybody else gets to experience the brilliance of the
spreading.
Kung Flu Chinese virus
My
song.
friend just said, I'm sending this to everybody I know, and if they don't find it funny, I can't be their friend.
Then that's the thing. Why, like, if you can't find that shit funny, then I can't help you, and maybe humor isn't for you.
Right.
Maybe that, like, humor is not for you if you can't laugh at the Kung Flu song. It is just brilliant stuff right there. It's one of the great songs you'll ever hear, guys.
And it's going to be in your head all night now.
COVID. To be
All
specific,
night.
COVID-19. That name gets further and further away from China as opposed to calling it the Chinese virus.
Kung Flu!
The Chinese virus. Kung Flu. The Chinese virus. Don't you understand, you dumb son of a bitch? Calling it Kung Flu. The Chinese virus. Testing is a double-edged sword. They test and they test. People don't know what's going on. We got this, they got this. You do testing, you're gonna find more cases. So I said to my people, slow the testing down. You know what? We got another one.
Boy, this is just quality.
The young man's 10 years old. He's got the sniffles.
The sniffles.
That's a case.
Got the
That's a
sniffles.
case. Thank you, China. Send us the plague. Kung Flu, the Chinese virus. Kung Flu, the Chinese virus. Don't you understand, you dumb son of a bitch? Calling it Kung Flu, the Chinese virus. Despite the fact that have done a phenomenal job. He lied. I saved hundreds of thousands of lives. There was only one person that died. I ran for politics once, but I became president.
That's a
You're
big
so
flex.
lucky I'm president.
You're so lucky I'm president.
What we can
It's
conceive.
so good.
I stand before you today to declare Kung Flu, the Chinese virus. Kung Flu, the Chinese virus. Don't you understand,
You dumb son of a bitch.
Calling it Kung Flu, the Chinese virus. If I lose an election over that,
This country's
what?
in big trouble.
this country's in big trouble.
Big trouble.
Big trouble.
Here's the thing, though. He may lose.
He
I
might.
think there's a chance he loses. I talk to people, again, I'm not a huge politically savvy individual, but I talk with people who are because, you know, they understand the political game more than I do. And they're of this camp, like they're Republican people. They're one of these, they're like Republicans, but they're kind of not favoring Trump as much as they used to be. And a lot of it is like, I get that he's not presidential enough stuff, or he really just has no actual thought going into this second one.
You're so lucky I'm president.
Why do sports guys talk politics? When you say sports guys, do you mean athletes or do you mean sports radio people? I don't really consider myself a sports radio person right now, especially when I do this. Like, this is the thing about everything. It might be labeled as a sports podcast or whatever, but I don't really consider this a sports show. So
You also don't consider it a political show.
it's a
live show. It's a live show.
It's a show. It's a general talk show.
If ever there was a year, though, for like some write-in candidate to win, this might be the one.
Yeah, well, best of luck.
Because everybody hates Trump. Most people hate Biden.
Yep. There's no way in hell that Trump loses to Biden. Here's the thing. If he does, it will be the worst political defeat in the history of, at least of the president. Because Biden, and I agree with Num Num Nation here, Biden is brain dead. And I agree with that.
Well, see, maybe that's the whole plan here, because like the rumors are he's gonna probably choose a black female to be his running mate.
Mm-hmm.
So then everyone will vote for him because they figure, well, he's gonna kick the bucket, and we're gonna have our first female black president.
Maybe so. Or just whoever's going to be in charge of what he's actually doing, because he's brain dead. But that's the thing. If you lose, if Trump somehow loses, they're like you could argue the two worst defeats ever. Hillary losing to Trump is currently the number one worst presidential, at least in the modern era, presidential election defeat in the history of politics. This career politician was set up to be the first female president, and she lost to a dude who's a reality TV star. That's the worst loss in the history of the presidential election.
That's
at least
quite embarrassing.
this would be worse. If Trump loses to Biden, it would be the worst loss in the history, at least of the presidential election, and maybe of all politics ever. If somehow Trump loses to the living embodiment of the missing elderly sign. Let's see here. How about the GOAT in Philly on WIP? Love AI, but over Schmidt? Really? I'm not going to engage in some debate based on a shitty WIP bit. I apologize. I am not remotely interested in a WIP bit about the GOAT of Broad Street. Although I did see that today they officially released the press release about hiring a new PD at 97.5 in Philly. Like up until today, I was surprised by this. It wasn't an official thing. Someone had leaked out an internal memo to Crossing Broad, and that's why it became a story. Today, they released the press release saying that they have a new PD. So maybe they'll get in touch with me. You're like, well, yeah, okay. You're clearly hungry.
I am hungry.
I know
We
you're
didn't eat
hungry because
dinner
now you're
yet.
being ornery. Now
Well,
you're being mean.
No, to be fair, I'm mean to you pretty. I'm good. I'm not mean. I'm realistic to you up on this podcast. People like it.
I guess they do.
I do keep it real with you, extra real.
Yeah.
But I am hungry because we did not eat dinner. Normally we eat dinner about like 5:30 or 6, but we had to take Luther to the last minute vet appointment.
Yep.
So we have not eaten yet.
What the hell happened to my computer screen?
Oh, no.
It's something. What the hell just happened?
What did you do?
Something's going batshit crazy on my computer screen.
You know, I'm not going to say it, but when's the last time you restarted your computer?
Recently, like this week.
Mm.
Are you guys still seeing everything, or has everything shrunk? If everything is shrunk, it might be a sign that it's time to call it a day.
The computer is hungry.
I guess it is. I actually think it might look screwed up on my end.
No, I think it still looks fine.
Okay, good. So it just looks screwed up on my end. Okay, I can live
You're
with that.
good.
Okay, good. I apologize. Something like my screen went all sorts of crazy, and also I don't know what happened there. But anyway, so and then it's like every time I move, something starts to happen. Like my screen has gone straight to hell.
Bob Sugar says, dinner at 5:30 or 6. What are you, 65? No, I'm living with someone who's an intermittent faster.
And we do the podcast.
And we do the podcast. I'd rather eat at 6 than 8:30. So
Yep. So here's a question I have.
Joe says the best time to eat dinner is between 7:30 and 8. Well, no shit, Joe, but here we are.
Usually we eat dinner in like the 6 o'clock hour.
Usually, yeah.
Okay, and you can eat whatever junk you want to eat after. I'm just trying to eat better. Now, I know that we had an ice cream yesterday, but, generally speaking, I try not to eat after 8 o'clock. That's all. Here's a question for you, Jilly.
Okay.
Perhaps you can answer this query for me. As far as the Astros go,
Mm-hmm.
the other day they were talking about, the owner was talking about, old James Crane here, old Jimmy Crane, says that they want to have fans in the stands, which I don't give a shit. It's your business, and if people want to let fans in and people want to go, let them go. Fine with that. But as far as that goes, my biggest issue with this is that we shut down bars today. People can't go to bars. People can't hang out at bars. In what universe would it make sense to put thousands of people inside a baseball stadium when you can't let 20 people inside a bar?
Well, to be fair, I mean, what universe makes sense for 20 people can't sit inside a bar, but 100 people can be in a Walmart? Nothing makes sense.
I get that, but at least with the Walmart stuff, they'll feed you the idea that, well, okay, but even though it's Walmart, it's essential, right?
Right.
Like, I'm not one to, and like, I don't judge Jim Crane for being rich. I'm not one of these people that's like, I don't like rich people and rich people owe me something. Like, nobody owes me shit, right? Like, I don't care. If you're rich, that's your life, and it doesn't faze me one bit. And I don't want any of your money. And if they let people into the stadiums, they let people into the stadiums. But it would really bother me if Joe Schmo, who runs a bar, can't make a living Yet Jim Crane, who has two multi-billion-dollar businesses, or at least one multi-billion-dollar business and one that's a whole lot of money, it would bother me if you're going to tell me that it's too dangerous for me to go to a bar with 20 people, but you can put thousands of people in a baseball stadium, and that makes all the sense in the world.
Well,
Like, that's bullshit to me.
If it's open air, now does it count if the roof is open? Do they just have to keep the roof open?
It
How does
doesn't
that work?
matter to me. Even if the roof is open,
But
I
I'm
don't
saying
give a shit.
that's the official rule from the governors. You can have 50% capacity at professional sporting events here if it's an open air stadium.
I don't like it. Listen, I'm all.
So I don't know if Minute Maid counts as an open air stadium.
I just don't know how you can sell me as we're at threat level red or orange or whatever threat level we're at, and bars can't go out and make a couple of bucks, and people can't go out to a bar, yet thousands of people can go out. What's the percentage capacity, did you say?
Originally, it was 50%.
So you mean to tell me you can put 20,000 people in a baseball stadium, but you can't put 20 people in a bar? That's bullshit.
If it's an
and
open
by
air
the way,
stadium,
and if the argument is, well, the Astros mean so much for the economy and blah 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 blah, like just like if does an Astros game with 20% capacity, thus a shrunken staff in the facility, plus no bars open around it, does it really actually help the economy? Like, that would be a bullshit response to that. Like, it's all garbage to me, man. Like, I don't want to see Jim Crane struggle or whatever, sell the team or whatever. But if a dude that runs a bar can't operate his business, but Jim Crane can put 20,000 people in a stadium, that is bullshit. It is stone cold bullshit. And when we talk about the biggest discrepancy in this country, the biggest division, race isn't it. It is money. It is finances. It is socioeconomic standing. And this is where the rich people, there's different sets of rules for rich people than the common guy, the middle class guy. A guy that owns a business now can't have people go into it. Yet Jim Crane, who's got a multi-billion-dollar baseball team and another huge multi-million-dollar company, this guy can have a different set of rules for him, and it's totally bullshit. Absolutely bullshit. I don't like it. In my opinion, I don't judge people who wear them all. I talk about masks. If you're extremely disciplined about not touching your face, there's an argument that it's being made worse, says M.W. Solgrove. And the other argument was, what if everybody in the stadium is wearing a mask? Well, the thing is, they're selling beer.
And food.
And food.
And I believe the quote was, whatever they'd like.
Yes.
Maybe they'll sell drugs.
Merchandise, all of that stuff.
Do you think they'll sell drugs?
You know what? If it makes money, why not? Sell drugs. Sell some pot. Sell some reefer. Some grass. Some green. Sell whatever the hell you want to sell.
That's if baseball even happens. I'm still not even convinced.
Yes.
Also, the NBA schedule is out. Speaking of things that I'm still convinced won't even happen.
Great. That's exciting stuff.
Yeah. The NBA schedule is here.
It's strictly political virtue signaling, Josh. You're trying to apply sanity, reason, and logic to politics. You'll just frustrate the hell out of yourself in the end. Probably so. But we're at a point with all this stupidity that I'm not about trying to keep anybody from making a living. But it will be, and I don't believe that life is fair. We know life isn't fair. No one told you life would be fair. I'm sure every one of us at some point in our life had a father, a mother, a grandparent, an aunt, uncle, someone in the family that told us, you know what, life isn't fair, get over it, or build a bridge and get over it. And I know that life isn't fair, and there will always be haves and have-nots, and that's okay. That's the way the world should be. Not everybody should be a gabillionaire, right? I get that. But if somehow Jim Crane could put 20,000 people in a stadium and can sell beer and food in that stadium, and a bar can't put in 15 people to sit around and drink some Miller Lights, that's bullshit. And really, baseball games are great for bars, right? Especially in that area. You walk over to Main Street, you walk over to all these other places, drink beers. If there are no bars, it doesn't help the economy. There's no benefit other than to the baseball players getting paid and the owners making money. That's the people who would benefit from the Astros playing games with fans.
Yeah,
That's
because
it.
I'm trying to think. I don't even know. Lucky's closed down permanently.
Yep.
Truck Yard, I saw they're closed. The Woodrow's down there, I assume, will be closed. I don't think they can
Frank's
pass
Backyard is
as
closed.
a restaurant. Because a lot of the bars that can pass as restaurants can still stay open.
Yes.
But I don't think there's anything down there that really passes at a restaurant at this point.
Yep.
Also, your Mavericks play on Friday, July 31st. That's the big return
That's
for
the
you.
opening. And here's my question about this. how the hell are you going to play basketball in Florida? How with a straight face, if the Rona is ravaging, just ravaging the state of Florida, how with a straight face, and I know it's a month from now, or almost 5 weeks, so we'll see what happens, but they're not just going to arrive on the 31st. They're going to get there.
I think they're supposed to start on like the 16th for like training. Yeah.
So you mean to tell me that in 2.5, 3 weeks, you're going to have basketball players in Florida, in the midst of Florida getting ravaged by the Rona, and that this is going to work?
It
has no chance of working.
It's also like very interesting how they're doing it. Like, and if you could get to Vegas and just bet on basketball, you'd probably be in heaven. So it actually starts on July 30th with a Thursday night, and it's just 2 games like normal, the 6:30 East and the 9 o'clock East.
Mm-hmm.
But then Friday, you've got games at 2:30 East, 4 o'clock East, 4 o'clock East, 6:30 East, 8 o'clock East, 9 o'clock East.
What do we look like? Sean Salisbury? Do you think we can just globe trot every weekend?
How it's going to be. Then there's one like next Saturday after that. There's one at 1 East, 3:30 East, 6 East, 7 East, 8:30 East. So there's like literally like 6 games a day just scattered from like 2 in the afternoon on.
Like the NCAA tournament.
Basically. So that's if we could get to Vegas, that's a Vegas dream right there.
It is. I just want to know if somebody can explain to me, or at least I'd like to get the thoughts of the crowd here. If people actually believe that Florida bubble thing is going to work.
No chance.
And it's because if one person gets that, it's all going to go to hell. I have no faith that that's going to work. I actually asked the audience today on 97.5 if they would attend an Astros game if it was at 50% capacity. And I thought it was going to be, well, if you had to guess what the percentage of people who said yes, they would attend an Astros game at 50% capacity, what do you think it would be?
70%?
I guess 95%. The answer is it was less than 50%.
Oh, wow.
More people said they wouldn't attend an Astros game than would attend an Astros game.
I'm actually surprised by that.
Dude, I was shocked by that. Like, I was of the belief that most people would have said, screw it, live and let live. Let's do this. But, as is, it's I was surprised. Just put it that way. I was surprised. Anyway. About to have to get out of here because, dinner time.
I still
and
gotta
shower
make
time.
the dinner.
We have to make dinner. Luther, how are you doing over there, buddy? Luther's hopped up on pain meds, so his life doesn't suck. So that's good. Then tonight, what are we going to... We might watch this Will Ferrell movie.
It looks terrible.
It looks terrible. Some new net... Like these... You know how like Will Ferrell's just completely fallen off the face of the earth? Every time a Will Ferrell movie comes out and you see it, you're like, Will Ferrell's got a movie?
With Rachel McAdams.
Well, her career fell off the planet like, I don't know, years ago.
And ABBA.
There's ABBA in this movie. It's weird.
It's 2 hours, but...
And that is the weird thing, though, about these Will Ferrell movies, is they start out, like, basically, you hear nothing of Will Ferrell, and then, boom! Like, Will Ferrell's got a movie, and you're like, oh.
It's PG-13. Which means it's really going to be bad.
Yeah, so we got
Downhill was terrible, but at least Downhill was rated R, I think.
But Downhill was also like a dramedy.
Yep.
So that sucked.
Terrible.
What's it called? I don't remember.
Don't know.
It's some song competition, some like Swedish song competition.
Let's see. Will.
Heard you mention you filled in for Rome. Any link to that audio? That was like 10 years ago, so I don't have that audio anywhere. I did that in like 2010 and 2011, I think, were the last times I filled in for Rome.
Eurovision Song Contest, The Story of Fire Saga.
And that is on Netflix.
Yep, and this review just says, bogged down by Will Ferrell shtick, Eurovision sings the wrong tune. You don't say.
Yeah. So maybe we'll watch that tonight.
It looks terrible.
So there's that. There's some other stuff, too, that we could watch. We might need to finish Mama June. So there's that at least. I usually use the IMDb ratings. They are solid. Well, you say so. So now MW Soulgrove said he's off to watch Tucker Carlson. So
it's that time.
It's that time of night for Tucker Carlson, kiddos. Any good documentaries out? All the shit that's documentary is so just kind of dark. Like
the gymnast one is supposed to be good, but it is dark.
Like,
obviously.
I don't want to watch about the diddling doctor And I don't want to watch the one about what's his name. Like, I don't know. Like, I want to see a documentary, like some good 2.5, 3 hour documentary about some movie I like. That's what I want to come out. I don't know what the movie would be, but I don't want to watch some depressing documentary about child diddling or any. I don't want to see this shit. Like, I want something a little bit happier to watch. Let's see. ID Discovery did a 2-hour documentary on the murders in Bucks County a few years ago.
And I've
we
been
have that on
trying
the
to
DVR.
get you to watch it. Anytime I record anything off like ID Discovery or like any like murder shows, you're like, yeah, cool, and then we never watch them.
Well, that kind of fits into the depressing category.
Well, they're interesting.
Like I don't know. I would just prefer to, I don't know, see something more upbeat, I guess. Did Clay Travis get back to you yet? No, I haven't heard from Clay Travis, but I do think that this podcast would work very well on their platform, so we shall see. All right, anyway, let me say, hold on, let me go down here and say goodbye to our podcast audience. Goodbye. All right, podcast audience we said goodbye to. Couldn't finish the first Epstein episode. Too disturbing. Like, I don't feel like watching that, you know? Like, I don't need to see disturbing shit. You know, it doesn't appeal to me right now.
I do want to watch the Bucks County murders. At least you've lived in Pennsylvania. I mean, in
I know, maybe
Philadelphia
we'll
area.
watch
So
that.
maybe
Well, I
you
want
would...
to finish the Mama June from Not the Hot Stuff.
Well,
you know?
it's still airing. There's a new episode tonight.
Oh, really? Well, I want to finish what we have.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, today I could tell you were not into it because you put it on during lunch, which was really weird.
I'm into it, but I was just I was just looking for something to put on during lunch, and then I started, shit was going on the text.
First of all, you never put on Mama June when eating.
Yeah, you're right. So I just wasn't locked in. I wasn't paying attention.
And you missed the whole story about Sugar Bear's erection problems. So.
Well, now I'm going to have to do it. I have to go back and watch. As far as producers thrown at you on a free show, I've been pleasantly surprised with Nick. He's solid. He is. Now, keep in mind that, and maybe he can do this or not, I haven't really tried yet, but this show doesn't really have a lot of elements, right? Like, it's not like our show was on 790 where there's a lot of drops that people know, and I'm just not trying to overload anybody with that, mostly because this show's probably going to last, well, who the hell knows how long it's going to last at this point. Could last my entire life, who knows? But I'm trying not to, overload anybody with anything. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense to anyone. It was good to hear from Willa. Yeah, Willa called today.
Oh, good.
Willa's still alive.
But
we
did he
missed him.
call as Kathleen Wall? Because that's
He
my
didn't.
favorite.
He didn't. Let's see. Is your producer woke? I don't get the vibe that he's woke. I don't think so.